right, finally, story 5. And this is why Pete Buttigieg remains one of the most interesting politicians in the country. We saw that when, small town mayor of South Bend came out of nowhere, used all these media interviews to ultimately win the Iowa caucuses, and, then ended up losing. But, it was remarkable what he accomplished. And he is now the first openly gay cabinet member. So he and his husband, Chasten, did this post on Medium, long-form post. They announced that they had become fathers just over a year ago, August 17, 2021. And they talked about, in this post, how they had got a girl and a boy, Penelope and Joseph. Both were premature. Each weighed about 5 pounds. They had early health needs. They required constant active care. And this gets really raw, and I think it's admirable. Penelope developed severe reflux, terrifying us when she would stop breathing and turn purple in a matter of seconds, Buttigieg says. More than once, it happened in the car, prompting Chasten to hurriedly pull over so we could unbuckle her from her seat and get her breathing back into rhythm while standing on the side of the road. Imagine going through that. She got better, but just a few weeks later, as they started to feel more confident about being new fathers, all new parents to some degree don't know what they're doing. The kids got a cold. Soon it was a cough. Then Penelope started having trouble breathing. Chasten took her to the emergency room. His skin, he was home with the other kid who they nicknamed Gus. His skin took on a mottled look. And by the next day, he was admitted to the hospital too. What a nightmare. All 4 of them were diagnosed with a respiratory virus called RSV. For us, it just been a nasty cold, the transportation secretary says. But for premature infants like them, it was a serious threat, adding that the kids had to stay at the hospital receiving oxygen for a few days. Gus later had to be transported to a full-scale children's hospital in Grand Rapids, about 100 miles away. He was put on a ventilator. Most parents don't start off expecting to be among the ones who know their way around children's hospital, but suddenly, it's you. And now, about a year old, they are both reported to be healthy. But, what a very human story, and the kind that most politicians wouldn't tell. And so my hat is off to them for sharing this. Look, if you think Pete Buttigieg isn't looking out of the corner of his eye at 2024, you're mistaken. I think he would run again if a certain person didn't run again. And, it's just, most politicians are just so buttoned up and carefully, and they stick to the talking points. And this guy, what a nightmare. Whatever you think of him or his politics, or whether he should run, or what kind of job he's doing in the cabinet, how can you not feel for 2 new parents who have to take their kids constantly to the emergency room, oxygen, ventilator? That is scary stuff. And with that, I thank you for listening. I invite you to subscribe.